and welcome to JRocks Pop Culture Revolution. This is episode number 24, and I am your host, Jason JRock Houston. And in episode 24 today, since Easter is right around the corner, and I've always loved the holidays, this is what we're going to be talking about, folks. And this is a classic holiday peanut special. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. Now, let's get into this, folks. Like I said, Easter's right around the corner. And one of my favorite things in relation to pop culture when I was growing up was watching these classic holiday specials. You know the ones I'm talking about. Okay, there were all these great Peanuts holiday specials, starting with the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, Charlie Brown's Christmas, and of course, this one's probably the third of the Peanuts collection, but it's probably the most popular. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. We're going to get into it. That there were other things growing up. I remember, I don't know if you really consider this a holiday special, but I remember like the Wizard of Oz when I was a kid. They would always, it seemed like, I don't know why, but they would always play it around, Thanksgiving holiday. So I always thought of that as a kind of a Thanksgiving, holiday special. It really had nothing to do with Thanksgiving, but they would play it around that time. And then, of course, growing up, classic TV channels which play classic Christmas movies like It's a Wonderful Life, even more modern films like Christmas Vacation and Home Alone. You got the classic Christmas films. Another one comes to mind is like Miracle on 34th Street. All these great classic holiday things. And another thing, like even the retro TV channels, I'm talking about like Nick at Night, Antenna TV. Growing up every year, they would play your favorite holiday episodes from your favorite TV shows. I'm talking about, like, you remember there were a couple great Christmas episodes, for example, from, Happy Days. There's one from Three's Company. So many great other stuff to talk about. And we'll save that for another issue, or episode. But like I said, this is what I want to talk about today. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. Okay, now just to kind of give you guys some background on this great classic holiday Easter film, and I gotta say, when we think of holiday specials, there's not a lot of like Easter kind of holiday specials that I can remember growing up, except for this one here. Okay, so let's get into it. The classic holiday film, it's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. It originally aired on CBS, folks, CBS television network on April 9th, 1974. So this film goes back, to the 1970s. And that was my, my time, my childhood. Coming into the world, as I've shared with you guys many times, July 4th, 1971, I was a very young lad at the time, and so I have memories of watching this, practically my whole life every Easter. So let's get into this. Now, of course, the concept for the Easter Beagle is based on both the Easter Bunny and Linus's Great Pumpkin belief. Now, again, we done a previous episode on it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, and what we talked was so great about that is, okay, typically when you're watching like a classic Christmas movie, classic Christmas episode from maybe your favorite classic TV show, the thing is that you don't usually Christmas centers around like Santa Claus, presents, and all that. Your typical kind of even Easter, okay. When we think of Easter, we think of the Easter Bunny. Now, that's what this has kind of in common with the Great Pumpkin. What I loved about the Great Pumpkin when it came out, not just that it was a Halloween special, but Charles Schulz, in creating the story for the Great Pumpkin, he got kind of creative. He said, okay, you know what? When most people think of Halloween, they think of pumpkin. So it made sense for Great Pumpkin, but again, what I loved about the Great Pumpkin, it was something original. Now, I believe the Easter Beagle is kind of loosely based on the Great Pumpkin. Linus kind of having this faithful belief that the Great Pumpkin exists. Now, I think this is the Easter version, kind of you know, the Great Pumpkin, except obviously it's the Easter holiday. So rather than just have a Christmas, or excuse me, a holiday Easter special centered around the Easter bunny, I think Charles Schulz thought, you know what, let's get creative like we did with the Great Pumpkin. Let's make this a little, give people a little something to think about. Let's give them a little something different. Let's not give them the same old thing that they've seen before. Anything Easter related is either, has a lot to do with Christianity, has a lot to do with, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So you watch some holiday things that's maybe religious based around Easter, but this is a fun little kind of holiday peanut special, and I think this is Charles Schulz again trying to create something for the fans, for people to enjoy at the holidays, because they were very successful with Charlie Brown's Christmas, The Great Pumpkin. Okay, let's make one for Easter. And again, I like that he got so creative, and instead of just having a story based around the Easter Bunny, which they could have done and it would have been fun, they got a little creative with this. And of course, unlike Christmas and Halloween specials, the Easter Beagle aired less frequently, and we're going to get into that, making it more of a hidden gem than the other holiday peanut specials. Again, and this is very interesting, but even as I look back on my life and enjoying these pop culture things that I did growing up, I remember as a kid that the time for all these great, that you'd see all these great holiday specials, played on TV and stuff, reruns and stuff. Haven't seen these things many times as I was growing up. I always look forward to Christmas. Christmas is probably, for me, like a lot of people, my favorite time of the year. It's the end of the year, things are wrapping up for a year. You get together for Christmas and New Year's with the family, if you're fortunate enough to. It's not just about presents, but, people enjoy getting presents. At Christmas time, I kind of enjoy going, it's a big event for me to think about what I'm going to get for everybody. I have fun doing that. So the old saying of it's not just about receiving, it's about giving. I kind of feel that. And Christmas time, you get all in the mood, folks. There's a count. Right after Thanksgiving, they start playing the Christmas music, and it doesn't end until they don't stop playing the Christmas music on the radio until early January. So there's that build up and to get you in the mood, and everything. And so again, kind of what I was reading is Christmas is a time where a lot of people kind of enjoy these holiday specials, watching them on TV and stuff. A lot of people never really got too much into Easter. I mean, they just, for whatever reason, they, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, filmmakers, animators, cartoonists, they would make these holiday specials mostly based around Christmas and Thanksgiving, not so much based around Easter. And so that's why a wider audience maybe did indeed tune into Charlie Brown's Christmas, Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, The Great Pumpkin. Those are all things that are more popular, more people, just love Christmas time. So that's kind of what it was saying. And so over the years, not that people like the Easter Beagle, less than the other holiday specials, just that the Christmas one and the Thanksgiving one and the Great Pumpkin were more popular. People were off at that time of the year, celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving with their family, and the family would be around the TV. So, again, the Easter Beagle, just people love it, but it became kind of like a hidden gem. People would, so it didn't necessarily play every single year, but I remember growing up, I seen it. And like I said, people laugh at me now, but as I shared, in some of the past episodes, I'm what I call an old school guy. You know what? Like I actually still enjoy, believe it or not, going to the movie theater. And in fact, I did just this weekend. I went to see a movie, and I enjoyed it. Sometimes I love just to get out of the house, go see a movie in an air conditioned theater. Relax, get out of the house. It's something. It's a bit I enjoy doing. Going to see a movie. And so on that line of being an old school guy, okay, in preparation for tonight's episode, I have, as you can see, my own DVD, personal DVD, so I can watch this anytime I want. I hadn't watched this in probably a number of years, but I thought, what, Easter's right around the corner, folks. So what a great thing to do an episode on, and I had fun just as much as the first time I saw that as a kid. It's a great classic holiday special, especially around this time of year. You know what? I'll tell you guys, I could watch Charlie Brown and the Gang any time of the year. I'm always good for it. And that's the thing about Charlie Brown, Peanuts. They are not just this is not just a cartoon for kids. This is Charlie Brown and the Peanuts Gang. They're not just loved by kids; they're loved by adults and people. All around the world, people of all ages. And it's interesting. While Peanuts is very popular in the United States, of course, because that's where Charles Schulz is from, and that's where Peanuts originated. But come to find out, Peanuts is worldwide, folks, and the Peanuts Gang is very popular apparently in Japan. And so some more interesting facts. Now let's get into the film. Okay. The Easter Beagle is one episode where Snoopy's alter ego directly shapes the plot of the holiday classic rather than being a side gig. I mean, in a lot of these classic Peanuts cartoons we've seen over years, talking about kind of Snoopy's character playing a side role. I mean, one of my favorite characters that Snoopy's played over the years is the Red Baron. World War II ace. He puts on his sunglasses. He's a pilot, and he can fly his doghouse. And that was a very popular character, but it was kind of a side story, in the background to go along with the fact, talking about the world, during World War II of that. But again, the Easter Beagle kind of takes center stage, and Snoopy as the Easter Beagle. Again, without getting too much into the backstory and how Linus very much believes in the Easter Beagle just as much as he believes in the Great Pumpkin. Okay, in fact, very much like in the Great Pumpkin, he's convincing Charlie Brown's younger sister, Sally. Sally, oh me, I'll show you there really is an Easter Beagle. Well, come to find out, Snoopy, aka the Easter Beagle, who is Charlie Brown and Sally's dog. How is it that they don't know that their own dog is the Easter Beagle? Okay, I don't know. This is just an animated cartoon, but it is a ton of fun, folks. So I urge you guys, because I don't gonna air on TV this year, but do yourself a favor. Do like me. Go out and get. I spent like I think I got this like for $7 on Amazon. You could probably get it for about that. It's a fun thing to have, and man, that's the Easter Beagle right here, Mr. Snoopy here and Charlie Brown, and we're gonna get into some of the characters because, of course, I just love the Peanuts Gang, as I said. Now Peppermint Patty, she is one of the characters I've always loved. Now Peppermint Patty, she's not your typical gorgeous, hot-looking girl, but again, this is cartoon, this is animation, but one thing Charles Schulz was really great at it was the characters in the Peanuts Gang. I mean, let's talk about Peppermint Patty. Again, she's not Peppermint Patty. First of all, in almost any of the episodes that she's in, whatever is going on, on the screen, Peppermint Patty, you can bet, is like she's really not getting it. She doesn't have a clue of what's really going on. Now, let's take a look at Peppermint Patty again. she's got kind of a tomboy look, kind of rough around the edges. Um, she's the only one in the Peanuts gang that refers to Charlie Brown as Chuck. I think it's a term of endearment now. Anytime you see Chuck and Peppermint Patty together, she's all over Charlie Brown. She's, talking up a storm to him, and you can tell Peppermint Patty, you know, she's got it for Charlie Brown. And then, just as Peppermint Patty does not have a clue, um, Charlie Brown doesn't have a clue of it, but she likes him in that way. He really thinks they're just friends. And again, Peppermint Patty's a little rough around the edges. And one of the things that goes on in the Easter Beagle is Peppermint Patty and some of the, well, actually, Peppermint Patty has a thing with her friend Marcy, the blind girl. They're trying to, it's just a disaster of trying to figure out how to color the Easter eggs. That's one of the main kind of funny things going on in the background of this story. And if you watch this, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's get into that because, again, Peppermint Patty versus the egg is just the most valuable player, in this picture. I mean, it's just a funny thing to see. So again, not having a clue on how to color Easter eggs, it's just pretty funny. And Pepper Patty, like, she knows she's doing it wrong. She doesn't understand how and why she's doing it wrong. She knows she's doing it wrong, and she's got to figure out how to do it right. That's kind of how she's kind of set, mentally. It's like, we're doing this. We're coloring the eggs wrong. I don't know what we're doing wrong, but we got to get it figured out. It's just driving her crazy. And then, of course, Peppermint Patty, as I said, is a little rough around the edges for being a female. She's not your typical, loves to play. Another thing her and Charlie Brown have in common is their love of sports and playing baseball. And so Charlie Brown apparently owns a field somehow that he's in charge of. And so while Peppermint Patty's trying to figure out how to color Easter eggs, the rest of the Peanuts gang, they tell Charlie, hey, we're gonna go clean up your field and we're gonna make it look really nice. And Peppermint Patty and Charlie Brown they got plans to go play on the ball field. But when they arrive, they find the rest of the gang, they're doing everything except what Charlie Brown again didn't have a clue what his friends meant when they said they were going to fix up the field. He thought they were fixing up to play a baseball game. They're planting trees and doing all kinds of crazy things. You got to see this. But again, it's just kind of that's who these people are. I'm talking about Peppermint Patty and Charlie Brown. Okay, and then it says, okay, this is what's funny. Peppermint Patty starts decorating the Easter eggs without realizing they are raw. So, one of the first things you have to do when coloring eggs, folks, I mean, it's just a fact. If you've done this anytime in your life, before you can even paint the eggs, you gotta like at least hard boil them, And so Peppermint Patty was just getting uncooked eggs and just trying to color them, and it just wasn't working for her. And it was one of the funniest, things that was going on in Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. So again, if you want to laugh up a storm, get this movie. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown, and watch Peppermint Patty trying to color Easter eggs, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, when the eggs crack, Peppermint Patty doesn't question how or why the egg cracked, but she becomes greatly annoyed with like trying to figure out. I just want to color some Easter eggs. What am I doing wrong? And I'm sure we've all kind of felt annoyed at something like that at least one time or a couple times in our lives, And that's why watching something like this, Peppermint Patty getting so annoyed about not being able to color the eggs, you could kind of relate to that, because we've all been through something like that, I'm sure. If we honestly kind of search and think back on some of our things we've gone through in our own personal life, So again, this is just kind of a fun animated holiday special, but it's something that I, as you can tell, really enjoyed and got into, watching it again. Okay, and then so finally, folks, I guess somebody helps her out, or she somehow figures out Patty. Peppermint Patty boils the eggs after decorating them and destroying the eggs once again. Oh my God! I think Peppermint Patty, you need to ask somebody else to show you that next year so you get it right. Now Linus, of course, who's Lucy's younger brother, he believes in the mythical Easter Beagle, and he believes in, like I said, the Easter Beagle, who's a myth. He doesn't believe in the Easter Bunny, but he believes in the Beagle, and I think Linus is a type of kid that he needs something to believe in. Which is kind of funny because maybe like at Christmas time, I'm sure Linus very much believes in Santa Claus. You got other kids maybe telling him, oh, Santa Claus is just Santa Claus is phony, or Santa Claus is your dad and wearing a fake beard. But Linus is one of these kids that very much believes in what he believes, and once again, very much like in The Great Pumpkin, he's trying to convince Sally, who's sweet on Linus, and I don't think Linus has a clue that Sally's sweet on him. But anyways, the point being, Sally cares about what all the other kids in the Peanuts gang think. She's like, "Oh my God, you're doing it to me again. You're tricking me just like you did with the Great Pumpkin. You convinced me that the Great Pumpkin was going to come. He never came. It's going to be the same thing with the Easter Beagle." So again, you have these parallels to draw between the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown and the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. Just different characters, different holiday special, but there's kind of a connection there. I think you can honestly make. And so again, it's now this is kind of something else I was finding out about. It said by the early 1970s, Peanuts holiday specials had become an annual tradition in American households. So again, starting with Charlie Brown's Christmas, it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Also, another very popular one around the holidays has always been Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving. I imagine maybe this coming Thanksgiving, I'll have to do an episode talking about the Thanksgiving special, but we'll save that for another episode, folks. So stay tuned for that down the line. Some key funny moments in It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown include, like I said, Peppermint Patty's egg decorating disaster. It's so funny because she has no idea on how to decorate Easter eggs. It's pretty simple, something we've all done, a number of times throughout our life. So the fact that Peppermint Patty could be, her age, I'm not sure what her age is, but okay, probably, at least, a school grade age kid, maybe junior high kid. So you'd think at that age, you'd at least have colored eggs, how to do it. But that's kind of makes it so funny. The humor in this animated holiday special is just really great. It grabs you. And again, the thing in watching the film is, it's not like it's even an hour long. It's not like a 2-hour animated cartoon. It's 30-minute special like they had on TV, back in the day when we were all grown up. And 30 minutes went by really fast, but it's something that I really enjoyed watching, prepping for doing tonight's episode. Now, also, she tries coloring eggs with both shoe polish and house paint. Come on, Peppermint Patty. Are you really that dumb? I don't know. Maybe, but I think she needs to have somebody give her a clue because she definitely doesn't have a clue right now as far as how to color eggs. Snoopy hands out Easter eggs like he is indeed the Easter Beagle. So again, if you watch a film, Snoopy is hearing, of course, Linus talking about the great Easter Beagle. and how everybody needs to believe him. Well, Snoopy takes it upon himself to become the Easter Beagle. He may not really be, but he takes on that role. And in the fact that he starts passing out, candies and gifts to the kids, Linus believes even more in the Easter Beagle. And again, how could he not know that the Easter Beagle is his best friend Charlie Brown's dog? I mean, I don't know. I look at it and, oh yeah, okay, that's Snoopy. But it's kind of like if you ever watch the old Adventures of Superman TV show back in the 1950s. Oh, that's, 1950s, way before I was ever born. But I caught that show in reruns, and I used to laugh because, you'd have Clark Kent, who is a mild-mannered reporter, Clark Kent, AKA Superman. But we're not supposed to know that when he has his glasses on and he's Clark Kent, that's the same guy that is Superman. He takes the glasses off. He would always kind of do like this and wink, let us know, hey, I'm Superman. Okay, kind of what this is like. And so again, just a great classic holiday special. Charlie Brown. Okay, again, one of the things I've always loved about Charlie Brown, and I heard Charles Schulz in many interviews talk about this over the years, that Charlie Brown, he kind of based around who he was as a person. Charles Schulz would often describe Charlie Brown as the world's most depressed kid. And just like in The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown got a bag of rocks. I'm talking about in The Great Pumpkin, and everybody else got chocolates and candy. Then Charlie Brown's like, why does everybody else get candy, not me? I get rocks. What's wrong with me? Well, again, Charlie Brown is having one of his depressed moments, if you will, or his humdrum, what's wrong with me, kind of thoughts and attitude, in the Easter Beagle. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So at one point, Charlie Brown, he feels left out of the Easter adventure that the other kids are having. He asked at one point, or he makes like this statement. I remember in the Easter Beagle where he's saying, I think that holidays were just created so other people could enjoy them. I don't really enjoy the holidays much. Why does everyone else get to enjoy the holidays and I don't? So again, he's kind of got this lackluster look on life, and it's like, oh, come on, Charlie Brown, life's not really that bad. And I think, that's, seeing somebody kind of put out a statement like, oh, I think the holidays were just, invented for other people to enjoy. You're like, come on, Charlie Brown, turn that frown upside down. Come on, Charlie Brown, find something to be happy about. But again, that's what we've come to expect from the Peanuts gang and Charlie Brown in particular. And it should be noted that, in case you were interested, that the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown was the 12th primetime Peanuts special. Now, just some fun trivia here, folks, to end tonight's episode on, which I think is very proper. It said now I didn't know this until doing the research for tonight's episode, but it said, along with Be My Valentine, Charlie Brown, It's the Easter Beagle, they were both nominated for Outstanding Children's Specials at the 27th Primetime Emmy Awards in 1975. Again, they did not win an award. They were nominated, though, for both, Be My Valentine and It's the Easter Beagle, Charlie Brown. And what I think is just great about that shows the popularity and how much people really do love these Peanuts characters and these Peanuts, holiday specials. The fact that going back to 1975, 1 year after the Easter Beagle was released, that both these holiday specials were nominated for an Emmy Award. Again, not one of them, but two. And okay, the fact that neither one of them won, but they were both nominated. So it's like they say, when you growing up, watching the Oscar awards and stuff, you hear people say, Oh, of course, I wish I would have won, but sometimes it's just an honor to be nominated, and I think this proves that. Now, folks, I want to thank too my good friend Tom Collier and all the folks at JRock um, TV, JRock Music Group for asking us to take our show over to their YouTube channel. A lot more people are going to see the show, which I'm very happy about. And so I want to thank them for doing this because, man, each episode we do just keeps getting better and better. And like I said, why did we do it's Easter Beagle Charlie Brown? Besides the fact that it's one of my all-time favorite classic holiday specials, and I want you guys to see that, hey, he knows what he's talking about. He's actually got it right. So, and I do research, each of these episodes because when I put together a show, I want to put together a quality show where I'm going to entertain you guys and show you that not only do I know what I'm talking about, that I actually watched the film, and I hope to entertain you guys and maybe you learn something fun along the way. To me, the great thing about doing a pop culture show like this is it's a great way to learn about history in a real fun way. What was, in this case, talk a little bit about what was going on in 1974 in the world, especially talking about Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang, and in particular, as I said, it's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. So Charlie Brown, turn that frown upside down. It's Easter time, and go wait with Sally and Linus and Lucy and Schroeder, for the Easter Beagle. And I'm going to close with this because also in regards to the characters, I also love the fact that Lucy, who thinks she knows everything, and is Linus's older sister, she's bossy to everybody. She's always had a crush on Schroeder. And in the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown, one of the funniest moments is where Schroeder and Lucy make a bet, and he says that if she does a good job cleaning up Charlie Brown's baseball field, he'll give her a kiss. And it's the one thing that she just knows she's been wanting and dying for. And she wins the bet, but he doesn't really want to kiss her. Oh, okay, Schroeder, never mind. I'm not going to beg you to kiss me. She probably wishes he would. But again, just another fun aspect of this great classic holiday special. So if you haven't already done so, folks, go out and find a way. If you have to buy this, I got it on Amazon. You can stream it, I think, on some of the streaming services right in time for Easter. This is a great classic holiday special. Happy Easter, everybody. We'll see you again next time. In fact, when we do this again next week, folks, I think what we're going to do episode number 25 on is I want to talk about some of my all-time favorite classic TV show themes. Now, that's going to be a real fun one, folks. Again, Jason JRock Houston for you, signing out. See you again real soon. Bye for now.